There's a wonderful story about a tiny little ant who really believes he got a raw deal. He was assigned to carry a long piece of straw that was so heavy that he buckled under its weight. Still, he did what he was told, and so he kept pushing and pushing, although ever so slowly. But then an obstacle that was too large came in front of him. There was a gap in the pathway on which he was walking. And he was just about to give up when suddenly a thought came to him. His back-breaking load suddenly turned into a blessing. He pushed that piece of straw across the gap, and it landed on the other side, creating a friendly bridge, and he resumed his journey. As we've spoken about in the past, this particular miracle appears not only in all four Gospels, one of the very few that is in all four, but in fact twice in Matthew and twice in John. And that's what's kind of, it's a little mysterious to me, because when I think of all the miracles that Jesus performed, and I think about things like curing the dreaded leprosy and giving sight to the blind and hearing to the deaf, the ability to walk to the crippled or the paralytic. He himself walked on water. And 3 times he raises someone from the dead. A young man, a little girl, and Lazarus. And yet this miracle, the feeding of the 5,000, is somehow considered the most important. Why that is because this miracle, more than all others, foreshadows not only the Eucharist, but really it teaches us more than we could ever want to know about what church is supposed to be. Jesus had the power to bless the bread and have it multiply, or the fish. But most scripture scholars believe that the miracle that was performed that day was that Jesus got the people to do it. It was so common to carry some extra rations when you were going out into the wilderness, because there wasn't 7-Eleven or a Burger King or anything like that. And so you had to have some extra stuff with you to eat. And the miracle that takes place is that somehow all these people give a little bit and a little bit until everyone had enough to eat. It's a very powerful scene, and Matthew puts it in context. Jesus had just come from hearing about John the Baptist, and he was very down. He was one of his best friends in the world. But besides feeling pity, which he did when he was moved with pity when he saw the crowd, but besides feeling pity, he did something about it. And that's really the critical piece. It's fine to feel things. It's fine to tell people we'll remember them. It's great to pray for them. No more powerful thing than prayer. But what else do we do? What else can we do? How do we turn a burden into a blessing, into a friendly bridge? That's what we do here all the time. But I'm not sure that we always make that connection. What we do here is to build a friendly bridge to out there. Speaking with any number of priests in the last 3 or 4 weeks, there's almost a widespread depression among them. We went many weeks doing virtual masses, making the best of a bad situation. And when the word finally came that we could open the doors and bring people in, and we didn't do it so frivolously, we did it very carefully and watching out for people's health and safety and so on and so forth. But the results have been less than exciting. It surprised me a bit. I really thought that people craved Eucharist, but not so much. And so we have settled over time for a virtual relationship with God. And there's no such thing as a virtual relationship. No more than we could have one with our spouse, with our children, with our parents, a friend, a lover. It doesn't exist. It's make-believe. And I own that on behalf of all priests. I think that we have to do a better job of somehow making what happens here have more meaning. Make it realize that it can change us forever. Other than those who are compromised by age or health, we need to bring people back. And just as Jesus relied on that crowd, we were all relying on each other to help multiply the number of people. We heard in the famous passage from Paul to the Romans, nothing, but nothing can separate us from the love of God. However, there is one qualifier there. There is one thing that can separate us from the love of God, and that's us. We can choose not to accept it. We can choose not to make the most of it, to embrace all of it. It's there, and it's a given, and God cannot do anything but that because God is love. All of us will have an opportunity this week, as we would any week that we come to church, to find someone out there who is a lamb that needs to be fed by our faith, fed by what we believe. We need to join together and build a friendly bridge. Us to others, others to God. And realize that's, after all, why we're here.